The waiting game is real. So come in, sit down, and let me add to the giant stack of books that you're waiting on. Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Pete. This is the Ponderings of Pete. And today we're going to talk some anticipated releases. If you're new here, thank you so much for coming. Go ahead and like, subscribe if you really want to see my face more. Hit that bell notification if you really want to see my face more. Or just hear what I say. It doesn't have to be about the face. You can turn that off technically, right? You can just put it, turn it away and listen to the audio. But if you do all that or even don't all that, tell me what you think about these releases in the comments below, all of the above. If you're returning, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Everybody, I guess everybody, just tell me what you're waiting for, or if you're really excited about any of these books. Let's get into them. First up, I'm going to do what I call honorary mentions, because these are books that at one point were rumored to be in 2022, but I'm still excited for them. For all of these books, I could not actually find release dates for, but we're going to talk about them anyways, because I just want to say, hi, I'm waiting for these. Come on, let's hurry up now. Let's hurry it up now. In my opinion, I think most of these are probably going to be out by 2023, unless there's any significant delays, and there's a possibility that some of them could be out by 2022. Small, but it's there. First one we're going to talk about is the sequel to a self-published book that I read last year, I think. I think I read it in June. Champion of the Fallen by M.L. Spencer. This is the second book in the Rivenworld series. It's the sequel to Dragon Mage. In my opinion, I really like Dragon Mage, and it was good as it was as a standalone, even though I know she intended it to be a trilogy, I believe she's thinking about it. So I'm interested in seeing where this one goes. I do hope that she doesn't reverse anything that happened in the first book, but I really did like the writing. Dragon Mage is some really good representation of a main character on the autism spectrum. So that's a really good book. Check that book out. I have a review right here, but it's a cool sequel. So she has not released any covers or details or blurbs about what this book is about that I know of, but I do know that the first 10 chapters are actually online because she posted them on Twitter. So I'll have a link to that down below, as well as to my review. Check those both out. Check out Dragon Mage. Fun time. The second one by a similarly named author, which is actually kind of surprising, but you know, the initial game is strong in today's literature, and that is Blood Over Bright Haven by M.L. Wang. This was originally supposed to be a novella, but it's actually going to be a novel now because it crossed a threshold. This is no relation to her hit The Sword of Kaigen, completely different universe. It's supposed to be kind of a dark academia themed thing set actually in what's called the Ultima universe, which is the same universe as 3 of her other works, I think novellas that she's written, which are set in a Flintlock fantasy universe, which is actually kind of interesting. So this is takes place completely separate from those other 3 novellas in a completely different continent, but the same world. That's about all I know. There isn't much out there on this. I know she's been working on it. She's gotten through the first draft at the very least. And last year, I believe I heard rumors they were supposed to be released this year. But of course, those were just rumors. So I'm hoping that she publishes it next year. I haven't really read that much by Emma Wang besides Sword of Kaigen. I might pick up her other Ultima novellas just to see how they are. The next one, I did at some point see an article that said it was supposed to release in 2022, but I couldn't find a solid release date anywhere. And that is The Cistern by Susanna Clarke. So I recently kind of got back into Susanna Clarke. I read Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell a few years back and loved it, and I reread that and then finished all of her fantasy backlist, which is Pure Nessie and The Ladies of Grace Ado. So it's not very long. So she's coming out with another book. No idea what it's about. It's called The Cistern. No cover, nothing. Got nothing. But it's Susanna Clarke, so I'm hype. Clarke's health has been a big hindrance for her with her writing, I know. The affliction that she suffers from prevents her from writing bigger novels, such as Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, which makes the likelihood of us getting a sequel very, very low, which, you know, I'm sad about, but I'm fine. I'm fine. And the next one is one that has been in publisher editing, limbo for a little bit, is The Forge of the High Mage, formerly known as The Gistal, by Ian C. Esselmont. This is the 4th book in the Path to Ascendancy series. now, and I believe he has 2 more contracted after this to make it a duo trilogy, hexalogy, I don't know what you call it, 6-book series. And yeah, so I'm in the middle of reading this, and I really like, or I'm reading the Path to Ascendancy series, and I'm really liking what he's doing with it. It's definitely not Book of the Fallen. They're completely different writing styles, but exploring the characters is fun. I think Esselmont specifically said that he was trying to get it released in 2022, or he said something about releasing it. But I've also seen that there have been placeholder dates on some sites that have been set to April of 2023. So there is no certain release date. Yay! And then the very last honorable mention I will do before we get into the ones with solid release dates is Lightbringer. This is the rumored title of the 6th book of the, I think they're going to call it the Iron Gold trilogy by Pierce Brown, the sequel trilogy to Red Rising. And I'm excited. We don't have a release date. We have nothing. The only thing we have is we know that, first of all, he wrote an entire manuscript and ripped it up because it was like, I wrote myself into a corner or something along those lines. And then recently, like a few weeks ago, he posted something on Instagram saying, I'm sending a draft into my editor. So, hype. If this goes according to normal publishing schedules, I would assume we might get it in late 2023 at a if it requires a lot of editing, but I don't have that much experience with publishing schedules. So I'm guessing next year, late next year. That's what I'm guessing. I've heard rumors for years about this one just popping up because it has been a hot minute since Dark Age. It hasn't been a Patrick Rothfuss minute, thank goodness, but it's been a hot minute. So yeah, that's the last one. That's the last thing I want to mention. So let's talk about the solid releases for this year. The ones that have dates. I believe I have dates for all of these, and I should have summaries for all of these as well. The first one I'm going to talk about is probably the only one that's kind of sketchy on my list in terms of I don't know if I'm actually excited for this yet. And that's because I haven't read the first book yet, but I'm already planning to read it. And that is Speaking Bones by Ken Liu. I have not started Grace of Kings, which was the first one in the Dandelion Dynasty yet. I have not read anything by this man yet, even though I've heard lots of great things about the Paper Menagerie and his other short stories. So I'm putting it on here because it's likely that I'll read it because I'm co-hosting a buddy read on Andrew's Wizardly Reads Discord and Nico's Discord, of course. Andrew and Nico's. But yeah, we're going to be talking about it on that. Links will be down below, of course. Yeah, this is book 4, and I think it's supposed to be the final one. I don't know. Dandelion Dynasty is a silk punk, so Asian-inspired steampunk, I guess. And I know there's a revolution, and our 2 characters are a bandit and the son of a noble that fell out of favor. That's pretty much it. That's all I know. And I'm going in kind of blind to this one, which is fine. Definitely hasn't bitten me before. Also, this is supposed to release June 21st of this year, so I'll be starting to read it in August. The next one is a self-published release that I want to talk about, and that is The Rebel by J.R. Tross. I read and reviewed his book The Rave, which is the first book in this series, a while back, and I really liked it. It's part of the Elf Raver trilogy is what he's calling it, and it's a fantastical kind of cyberpunky fantasy world. Don't know the actual technical genre term for that, but you have a lot of mythology lurking beneath the background of dragons and elves and some demon stuff, but like it feels more, I don't know how to describe it, but like a little bit of fairy tale-esque monsters. And you have elf ravers, which are, elf hunters, is the collective term for fairy tale monsters, essentially. I'm still trying to find a good way to describe this, but it's really cool. And it combines technology into all this, and she's trying to figure out how to save her grandfather's school, so she goes to the big city to take on a huge hunt or rave. And yeah, it's super cool. And The Rebel is supposed to be released on June 1st, from what I heard from the author, but I haven't really heard anything else outside of that or seen anything else online. So right now he's shooting for June 1st. Probably going to have an arc for this one, so I might be able to get a review out immediately on release day, roughly. So I actually might be reading that in May. We'll see. The next one is the highly anticipated book by R.F. Kuang, and that is Babel, or let me read this out. The Necessity of Violence, an Arcane History of the Oxford Translators' Revolution, And this seems really cool, guys. I read Poppy War. I didn't read the rest of the series because I think a lot of the narrative thrust was lost for me because I knew what was going to happen. Or I was the specific events in history that are in the Poppy War were spoiled for me. And I really didn't like Rin, so I never actually continued with the series because I was like, eh. But this sounds awesome. So she's labeling it dark academia. It has she's saying it's similar in tone to Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, which I just read and loved and reviewed. This is an academic writing a book about an academic's revolution. What's not to be like? This is going to be so interesting. I'm excited. Some of the themes that have been mentioned, like anti-imperialism and some other things, is like, oh, this could be really, really good. So this releases in August. I'll probably read it end of August, beginning of September. Looking forward to this. Another self-published for you. And that is The Bonds of Chaos by Zach Argyle. I've read the other two before. Love the Threadlight series. This is the third one in the Threadlight series. I'm excited. This is another August release, August 25th. And yeah, it's going to wrap up his trilogy, which I'm super excited for. He has such a really good, tight storytelling. Like, his books aren't, like, thick, as a lot of fantasy books tend to be. So it's nice that he fits a lot into a small amount of page time and creates such a vibrant world. So, Bonds of Chaos, third book in the Threadlight trilogy. I believe, yeah, I did review the first one up here, so check that out. Love this series. Super excited for it. What else we got? The one I probably should have started with, since this is the release, because these are not in chronological order, even though that would have made sense. That is Hunger of the Gods by John Gwynne. That actually is the one that comes out next month, April 12th, though I have no idea when I'm going to read it, even though I want to. This is the sequel to Shadow of the Gods, and both of these books have super epic covers that I really love, that aptly convey the sense of scale that is here. And it's awesome. So, second book in the Bloodsworn saga trilogy. I don't know what it is. He might end up writing another 8 books about this. Who knows? But it does have to deal with, giant things that are considered gods. So, check it out. There's really cool stuff. Like, there's one god that died that was a snake. And now there's a city in its skull. And it's super metal. So, yeah. There's some really cool imagery in these books. What else? Let's do the 2 Star Wars ones before we get to the last one. Star Wars Brotherhood by Mike Chen. I have no idea about this author. I just know this book is about Obi-Wan and Anakin. And it happens after episode 1, before episode 2, I believe. I don't know. But I know it's about that, which is exciting. And yeah, it comes out May 10th, which is going to be dope. I know very little bit about what this book is, but it's, it's an Obi-Annie story. So I am down for it. I think there were a few Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker stories that were like teen YA level books, like young teen fiction. Back when teen fiction was a thing, before YA was invented, that were tiny. I think it was like Legacy of the Force or something. I could be misremembering, but there were these tiny books that I liked. And I don't remember what they were. If you knew what they were, tell me. But they were great. They like chronicled Obi-Wan and Anakin's growing relationship over the years, and it was so cool. So this is kind of a callback to that. And it's an adult book, I think. So that'll be fun. Next one is Star Wars The Padawan, or just Padawan. And this is another Obi-Wan Kenobi book and Qui-Gon Jinn book. There was another book called Master and Apprentice that I read last year that I really liked. So Qui-Gon Jinn, Obi-Wan Kenobi, just like that master-apprentice relationship is really cool to me, I guess. But I'm excited for this one as well because it's, another Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan dynamic book. This one written by Kirsten White. I think this one is supposed to be YA, but I'm looking forward to another take on their relationship and a look at that because it's going to be fun. And that one comes out July 26th. I don't think I have hard plans for when I'm going to read both of these, but hopefully in the next year I'll slot them in because I think these are the only 2 that I've seen of the new releases that I'm excited for. Some of the other ones, have to deal with like Exegol, and I'm just like, ew, Res of Skywalker. Or they have to do with the High Republic, and I'm just like, I'm not caught up, and it's going to take too much to get caught up right now with that, so, okay. I mean, High Republic didn't wow me, the one book I read, and I might get back to it eventually, but it'll be a while. Finally, the very last one that is supremely obvious, The Lost Metal by Brandon Sanderson. Guys, it's been a while since Rhythm of War, so it's been a while since a new Sanderson book that I wanted to read came out. I mean, I say that but I'm not caught up to the Skyward books in order to get to Cytonic, but it's been a while since Rhythm of War. So, we're getting another Cosmere book, The Lost Metal. It's supposed to be Cosmere heavy, and it comes out on July, I don't know, what day? November? And it comes out on November 15th. So, I'm excited. A lot of you are excited. It's a Brando Sando book. We're excited. We're going to get more. And Sando's crazy with the whole Kickstarter thing. That's about it. Yeah, so that's it. Another Wax and Wayne book. What's not to like? If you don't know that much about the Cosmere, I should do a video about it. Let me know if you want me to do a Cosmere video, or just like an explanation of the Cosmere or something. I don't know. Anyways, let's wrap this up. Thank you so much for watching. If you're here, you're awesome. And yeah, make sure to get some rest, because that is super, super important.